Welcome to LimLoges&Masters Restoring the Balance at Work podcast series, looking at the challenges businesses face today and their impact on our disrupted economy. LimLoges&Masters is a leading HR consultancy in Asia Pacific that helps organizations transform their people through three distinct yet connected services: disruption management, executive search, and transition management. Today's podcast is about reward and recognition in organizational transformation. And we are joined in the studio by LLM's founder and managing partner, Lelia Lim. Lelia has over 20 years of experience in executive search, previously at Korn Ferry International for close to 13 years. Lelia, welcome.
Thank you, Ruben. It's good to be back again. Today, we have the second installment of our podcast series for the Restoring the Balance theme for this year. We're so excited to have another special guest with us, and his name is Frank Cancelloni. Frank is a French native with over 30 years of experience working in Asia, and he has previously served in global companies including PVH Corporation, overseeing fashion brands such as Tommy Hilfiger and Calvin Klein. And he was the CEO for the Lacoste brand in Asia Pacific as well. And with experience and expertise in the retail and fashion business, he brings a lot of familiarity with the Asian market. Frank is destined to take the Jim Thompson brand to the next level of success, a Thai brand that will become a truly global lifestyle brand. Jim Thompson, as you might know, is an iconic lifestyle brand long been associated with high-quality textiles and luxury. Founded in 1951, it was created to revive the Thai silk industry, and silk is the defining element of the company's heritage and continues to be a central feature of the business. Today, the world of Jim Thompson spans three large business units, namely fashion, home furnishings, and hospitality. The company is going through considerable transformation as we speak. And Frank is looking to help drive this transformation and position Jim Thompson as one of the top 10 Thai employers in the next 5 years. He's looking to build morale and culture and has introduced an exciting new Phoenix plan. Welcome, Frank.
Thank you, Leia. Thanks for your warm welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
You've been at Jim Thompson for a year now. Happy first anniversary. Tell us a bit about how you got to where you are today, Frank, and what's your vision for Jim Thompson?
Oh, that has been, thanks. It's been a very exciting first year, obviously. Moving, as you mentioned, from various roles, in global brands across Asia, moving to Thailand and running a brands in Thailand, not only for the Asia market and globally, is a very exciting challenge. And as you mentioned correctly, the brand of Jim Thompson is absolutely an amazing brand with a lot of potential and very, very well known. And it's also one of the reasons I joined the company. And you might be surprised to know that we did a consumer centricity survey when we joined, just looking at the brand awareness in Thailand only. And believe it or not, 91% of the Thai people know Jim Thompson, and moreover, they like Jim Thompson. I think this is really an amazing brand with a lot of potential. So this is where we are today. Now, back to the vision of the brand. That was really a challenge for me when I joined the company. I was literally bombarded with questions from the board, from associate and from the team. I say, Frank, who are we? Are we a tourist brand? Are we a brand for local people? Are we a luxury brand? There was all these questions because in the past life, the positioning of the brand has changed a bit. And I think we had to clarify that. And I have to admit very candidly that took me some time. It took me some time to really learn from the past and see where the brand should be positioned going forward. And after a few months, it was 6 to 8 months, I had what you call my haha moment or my epiphany, and realizing that this brand, like the Jim Thompson brand, had all the pillars to be a truly lifestyle brand, similar to a Ralph Lauren in the US or a Giorgio Armani in Europe. I realized that in Asia, there is no lifestyle brand. And what I call lifestyle brand is a brand who has, as I mentioned, the pillar of lifestyle is like obviously the fashion division, fashion business unit, also home fabric or home furnishing. We have also hospitality, and we have 4 restaurants in Japan, in Bangkok, in Singapore. So we have the hospitality, but we have also arts. There is a beautiful contemporary art center in Bangkok, just reopened last year, and we are where we am today, this beautiful and iconic Jim Thompson house. So when you bring all the pillar, the art, the history, I mean, the heritage of the brand, the hospitality, the home furnishing and fashion, we are truly a lifestyle brand. The fact is, in the past, all these pillars were not brought together, and now we are, I would say, pun intended, trying to bring all these pillars together to rebuild or to build the Jim Thompson house.
Yes, yes. No, we are very excited for you, Frank. And being Group CEO today, you are responsible for a larger team, and you've brought in a strong management team today. How have you created this at Jim Thompson? What are the critical skills they need to possess to achieve the goals of your Phoenix plan?
Well, that's something interesting, because I look at my previous management team, and as you mentioned, I run different brands, across Asia. And then before I assemble or really set up the new management team, I look at what I did in the past, what I did right, but also what I did wrong. And the key learnings for me of setting up a strong management team, there are 4 points for me. I think the diversity is extremely important in a management team. Diversity in terms of expertise, diversity in terms of background, diversity in terms of gender, diversity in terms of nationalities, and that's very important. This is what we have today. I think also what the management team must have is a very strong passion for the brand. You cannot achieve anything great without passion, and all the management team I had a chance to work with in the past were passionate about their brand, and that's the case today with Jim Thompson. And after the passion, I think each of them needs to have a strong expertise in their own field. You need to have a strong CFO. You need to have a strong HR. And I think that's very important. And I think the last point for me, it's having, forgive my expression, but the good mix of old blood and new blood. And you know what I'm trying to say. I think it's always a mistake when a CEO arrives and brings his all new team to replace the old team. That's not the right way to approach. I think we should find the right mix of people who have been in the company for 10, 15 years, which is the case today. And some people I just hired last week. So it should have a good mix of this experience, or the background of the history of the brand, and some other people who are joining with a different point of view and from an external standpoint. So this is really the 4 pillars of the management team. Last but not least, they should all be aligned on the objective. The alignment is key, the trust is key, and the transparency is key. And what I told the management team, when you have a great management team, if we are aligned on the objective and the transformation of Jim Thompson, if we're totally aligned in the direction you want to take, if you trust each other, trust is extremely important, and you're very transparent, nothing can go wrong.
No, I totally agree. And beyond your management team, how are you changing the organizational mindset to drive this transformation and becoming more forward-thinking?
As we all know, changing mindset is extremely difficult, time-consuming, and it's not something you can do overnight. But before changing the mindset, you have to know what's the current mindset in the company. Because you're not going to arrive and say, I'm going to change. Before changing, you should understand the company. You should understand the company culture. And it took me time to understand, because again, coming from large US multinational or global brand moving to a local company, even with a global footfall, it's pretty different. And there are 2 ways of understanding the mindset before changing it. The first one, pretty old school, but it still works, when you join a company, you need to spend a lot of time one-on-one, not only with the management team, but the N-2 and -3, and which I did when I joined. Actually, incidentally, I wasn't onboarding during my quarantine. So during 2 weeks at the hotel, I had time to talk to a lot of people, and you pick their brain and you ask them a lot of questions, but some easy questions like, tell me your achievement. What have you achieved before I joined the company? I want to know because I don't know everything about the past. Tell me about the challenge you have been facing about the past few years, the frustration. And the last question you ask, give me some advice. Tell me how I should run this company, because I'm new, I know nothing, So in this way, you kind of take the pulse of some key leader of the company, whether they were in Thailand, in the US, where the subsidiary, or also in the UK, but also talk to former employees. I talk to distributor partners, people who work the company. So we kind of do a 360 to understand the mindset of the people. That was a phase one. Then phase two, you do something like most of the large companies are doing. You carry out a people engagement survey. Mm-hmm. We work with an external company, and the people engagement survey, and I'm sure everybody is listening know what it is, but it's a way of taking really the pulse of the company. And I always compare a people engagement survey with when you go a full body checker. Once a year you go full body checker and you check, what's right or what's wrong. And if you see something wrong, then you deep dive. And thanks to the people engagement survey, which was a success in terms of participation, people like the associates had a lot of things to say. We had more than 90% participation on that. Excellent. It gives you a very interesting result with facts and numbers, because people are complaining, but then after what are the people are complaining, are they in the US, are the one in the home furnishing department, are the front end or the support function, because as you know, even if this people engagement survey are anonymous, you can slice and dice the result, analyze the pain point in each department, and once you have the pain point, then you can develop an action plan. Mm. And that's how, I would say the first step of getting to know what's the mindset of the company, and then we're going to try to change it.
Mm. Yes, and with all that information, especially highlighting pain points, we know that you are looking at many non-financial rewards and recognition to promote loyalty and also to encourage greater morale and engagement in your staff. So compensation packages is one of them, but KPIs, objectives, bonuses, even staff discounts. In implementing these, what challenges have you faced, and has this increased engagement in any way, loyalty in any way?
Yeah, I think you're right. Once you analyze that, then you develop the action plan. But to change the mindset, and we're going to phase two, trying to change the mindset, something also very important, it's you need to have the support from the board. That board of director, they have to admit, looking at the results, the people engagement survey, they have to admit we do have some issue, we have to settle them. So I'm very grateful because I had the full support of the board to change, to implement some changes. Having said that, we have to pace the change. And it's also one of the key factors of success. You cannot decide all of a sudden, for bonuses, additional leave. You have to go step by step, And to answer your question, yeah, you're right. You have two types of, the compensation. You have financial-based compensation. And I want to talk about that for a sec because it's important. Again, maybe back to my background, I'm very much into performance-based, compensation. So you are being compensated. I'm talking about the financial first, and we go to non-financial after. Mm-hmm. The performance-based compensation is key. And the performance-based is based on the performance of the company, but also performance on the individual. And at that stage, as we talk, we are changing and we are implementing a performance-based compensation. This is a financial point. But again, financial is still very important for everyone, and everyone has to understand if you achieve your objective, you'll be compensated. And same if the company has achieved an objective, which again, with all respect for the company, was not the case before. Since now we are changing. Now, the non-financial compensation is equally important. Someone is saying like financial is really an hygiene thing. So you have to do it, But on top of that, the non-financial is key. And there's a few things that we can do. And then maybe here, I'm just going to go back to my past career, but something I want to do. And Jim Thompson, in my past career, especially when you work for fashion brand, one of the ways to reward or to recognize the key element, the key talent, was to every year to select a few people and to send them to attend a fashion show. One of our fashion show in New York or in Milan, spend 3-4 days, be at the first row of the fashion show, meet the key leaders in the country, visit the stores. And I can tell you, sending a few key talents to New York for a week has a huge impact on the engagement of these associates. And I say, jokingly, even more impact than increasing the base salary by a few percent. So this is a very good example of a non-financial benefit that has a great return, which we have not done yet with Jim Thompson. In Jim Thompson, we started with a basic. We started by increasing staff discounts. And something is important for me is that when you join a company, if your own associate are not wearing your product, like I'm doing right now, I'm wearing a Jim Thompson product. If your own associate are not wearing your product, you have already a problem. Don't even think of getting new customer. Try to convince your own people to wear it. And one of the roadblock here, part of the people engagement, that we were giving only 20% discounts, on associates. So we move it immediately to 50%. And the next step, because as I said before, I want to go step by step. The next step in a couple of years, we will give what we call a uniform, a uniform allowance, an apparel allowance every year, so our associate can go to the store and buy our own product. So that was an example of non-financial benefit, was very well received. We increase obviously the health the health insurance, the coverage. It's small things, but it means a lot to the associate because. We create for Jim Thompson this newsletter. It's a Jim Thompson Listen. That was the name of the people engagement. Jim Thompson Listen, and then we got all the questions, and now it's Jim Thompson Cares. So we care about you. So improving the health benefit was important. It's still very important. Increasing the discount is important. Another example. That everyone is doing reward or recognition for seniority, what we call a long-term service award. We were doing that. We were definitely doing that. But the reward that we were giving were really not up to what the people have been doing for the company. So we also increased in terms of cash and in terms of allowance, we increased what we give to the associates. So step by step. And as I told the team, because I try to communicate every month through a video for everyone to share the result, but also the progress that we're making. But I told the team that we have to go step by step. There's a lot of things in the pipeline, but again, you have to make sure that the company is performing, as per the Phoenix plan, and then the associate will be rewarded accordingly.
Accordingly, exactly. And are there continued challenges that you have to overcome as an organization moving into a more modern sphere?
Well, the biggest challenge, and I think most of senior leaders are facing the same, it's balancing the short-term expectation, delivering the result for the next quarter and next year, and at the same time thinking about what we're going to do in 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And it's really like finding the right balance at the same. So this is really an exciting challenge. We're looking at some short-term projects what we're going to do in the next 2 weeks, but we're looking at much bigger projects in the next 2 to 3 years. But same, it's a matter of investment. And again, almost a fashion brand coming out. Most of the brand coming out from the COVID, a bit, I would say, injured or weak. We have to go back in the game. And again, step by step. So that's the challenge. But again, as long as you have the support of the board, which I have, then you have assembled, a strong management team, as I described before. Then the strong management team's role is to cascade, all our strategy to a lower level, so everyone is aligned to achieve the objective.
Yeah, no, we are very excited for you. Of course, there's always this hanging question. A founder of Jim Thompson was an American soldier, and he came to Thailand during World War II and founded this company called the Thai Silk Company, Thai Silk Industry Company Limited, and this was in 1951. And then we know Jim Thompson later in 1967 mysteriously disappeared in the forests of Malaysia. And Frank, you're in a very, very privileged position right now to know certain trade secrets. So tell us, where is Jim Thompson today?
I thought you were going to tell me, Lilia. I thought you were going to give me the answer. Well, that's a very good question. Let me answer by a short true story. On March 17, 1967, Jim Thompson, the man, really inaugurated his flagship in Surawong. And this is a 7-story building in Surawong in Bangkok. And this building exists today. It's the flagship of Jim Thompson. This is where my office is here. And I encourage you to visit this beautiful store. And it was really the project of his life. I mean, after obviously the Jim Thompson house where I am today, the second project was really buying this building and really doing before the name flagship existed, creating this amazing 6-story, beautiful retail concept with fashion and home furnishing and the restaurant, everything. And it was on March 17, and he told someone, and this person is still alive today, he told someone that, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted about this project. It's a project of my life. I've been working 2 years, on this. I'm tired. Really, I want to have a rest. I really want to disappear. That's what he said. And then on March 26th, 9 days later, he went to Malaysia for a rest, and he literally disappeared. That's what I know at that stage.
Oh, it's still a mystery then, Frank.
We'll keep it this way.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting true story.
Well, it's always nice to have, this belief that the iconic figures may appear one day, and who knows, Jim Thompson could be a very different person by the time he returns to Thailand. But it's been great talking to you, Frank. I really appreciate the time that you've spent with us today, and I'm sure the audience will learn so much from you listening to you today. So thank you again, and voila, all the best in Jim Thompson.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lilia. And I look forward to welcoming you in Thailand at the Jim Thompson house. And I'm going to share something that we have not talked before. And I think the good occasion to share it with you and with the audience. We are sitting here in this beautiful Jim Thompson house. And as we talk, we are not renovating the house per se, because it's a historical monument. But around the house, we had a couple of other buildings that belong to the compound. And we are creating a new lifestyle concept at the Jim Thompson house. And Lilia, when you come by the end of the year, not only you can visit the Jim Thompson house, but you can visit and you can shop our expanded retail concepts here. You can visit a museum about Jim Thompson the man. There was never any museum of Jim Thompson the man. You can walk through a home furnishing showroom, so all the beautiful fabric. You can see in the back of my mind, this will be in the showroom. We'll have a beautiful map of the world with each country with different of fabric. You can go to the restaurant. We will have 3 restaurants. And Lelia, most important, we'll have a Jim Thompson bar where I invite you for a drink. So I'll definitely see you by the end of the year. I'll make sure you'll be invited for the grand opening.
Oh, thank you so much, Frank. Thank you for thinking of me. And I am a fan already. You needn't sell it to me again. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you, everyone, for being our audience today. And we're so excited to continue with our theme for this year, Restoring the Balance for 2022. In our next podcast, which is scheduled for September, we've got an exciting new person. and his name is Colonel Dr. Ng Yi-Yung, who is the Chief Medical Officer of the Singapore Civil Defence Force and the Home Team Department of the Ministry of Home Affairs. And he will be speaking about digitalization in the healthcare industry in Singapore. And we look forward to that exciting conversation with him. So join us, keep in touch, stay linked to us on LinkedIn, and we welcome you again in our upcoming podcast. See ya.
Stay in touch with LimLoges&Masters on LinkedIn and watch out for our next podcast. Goodbye and have a lovely day.